This is Hunt Nebraska, the official podcast for insight into Nebraska's hunting and shooting sports community. Be sure to give us a follow on Facebook, our space for sharing stories, information, tips, and techniques. Now, Hunt Nebraska. And welcome back, and happy Thanksgiving, folks. We're recording this a little bit ahead of schedule, but we know that because of the editing process that we were talking about before we started recording has slowed down now that we're without Kayla. She's moved on to Pheasants Forever and greener pastures and all that stuff. It takes us a little, us as in me, Julia, a little bit longer. But thank you, folks, for taking us along for the ride. Maybe we're sitting around the Thanksgiving table right now, folks listening to us on SoundCloud or whatever audio platform you download your podcast from, or maybe they
might be trying to escape from some family conversation. Yeah. So
well, this family might be sitting around the whole TV watching us on YouTube as well. So
hi, folks.
Thanks for that.
Thanks for joining us.
We appreciate that. I'm Hershey. We've got Hunter, our Hunter Ed coordinator, sitting over there in the red. Is that kind of a Wisconsin red? Is that?
It's not even close.
No, it's
maroon.
It's maroon.
I work in guide colors. I had like the 8 package of different colors growing up, Julia. So red, blue,
Waverly
yellow,
Viking
white.
maroon.
I know it's nothing. Okay. All right. Waverly maroon. There we go.
Maroon.
We've got our good friend on mission control over here from the National Wild Turkey Federation. We've got Michael Addison there. And once again, back by popular demand, because we begged and pleaded just moments before we went on air to get Julia Plugi from She Goes Outdoors. And we're going to have some fun. This is our Thanksgiving holiday special right here, folks. This is what it's going to be. We're going to talk some hunting. We're going to talk about shooting. We're going to talk about traditions. We've got some Thanksgiving. We got some trivia stuff going on. It's going to be pretty darn fun. Now, it's kind of crazy around here right now. We got to be completely honest, because the week leading into the week of Thanksgiving is always deer season here in the state of Nebraska. Our November firearm deer season is going on. And so we've got people coming in, we got people going out, we got all sorts of things going. Have any of you guys been out deer hunting?
Yep.
Yeah. We got nods right here.
Saving it for this weekend.
All right.
For this weekend.
Giving them a sporting chance. Michael, you've been out?
Yep, I've been out.
And what were you seeing?
Didn't see hardly anything.
Yeah, it's been kind of warm.
But it has. Went out opening Saturday and literally I didn't even see a squirrel. And then
well, at least you didn't have any. You didn't have excitement.
I heard a hen turkey shortly after fly down time though. So there was that. But Sunday went out and saw a coyote and a smaller buck and a doe. So.
There's a start there. Julia, have you been out yet? You've been busy.
Yeah. I seen a lot of deer along the interstate between Kentucky, Illinois. Let's see, where else did we? Missouri. There was a lot of deer along the interstates there.
There's always a lot of deer on the interstates there.
I swear they sit there and go.
They do.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So doing a little out-of-state hunting, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I was, yeah. Yep, we were driving along. Yep.
Are you going to get out then in the near future?
Hope so.
Yeah.
No, we're planning on it.
Just tell the whole family, teamwork makes the dream work. So to help get Mom out into the deer woods.
Good point.
They just need to all come together and say, Mom, go deer hunting.
Go deer hunting. I'll probably sit down and be like.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't doubt that one bit. You've been going pretty good, which is pretty impressive. And I know, Hunter, you're getting ready for a big deer hunting weekend, getting the family together and hopefully making some noise and some venison sticks.
I think so. We usually do, so it'll be good to be back hunting with them after I missed a year last year hunting with them, so it'll be back again, which will be nice. And I think that's what I look forward to more bow hunt and get out before and after, but kind of the big deer camp is the one where you get the family and friends and extended family and food and
hold on to that as long as you can, obviously, because it definitely means a lot. I think the people you hunt with oftentimes means more looking down the road, and even now at times more so than what you see or what you harvest or anything along those lines. It's kind of adds to it, don't get me wrong, and that's the excuse we use to get together, but it definitely, those memories and times are priceless. They really are. And folks, if you're listening, as you're heading out, maybe doing a little hunting this holiday time, keep that in mind. Invite some friends, some families, help make some memories that are going to last you not only this year and perhaps around the big table there at mealtime, but also going down the road as well. Now, talking about that, we are sitting down here. We got to talk about food, right? Because Thanksgiving time, hunting time, we talked about it. One of the big things that has changed the way we hunt are the snacks and the food that we can eat there in the blind. McRib, you guys big fans of McRib? Maybe not.
Nope.
I do enjoy the occasional McRib.
I've never had one.
What?
I've never
What?
had one.
Are you even American?
My goodness.
They used to give it to us at school lunch.
Must
Like
be
that
in
was
a-
on our school
Really?
lunch.
Must be a
menu.
Missouri,
Yeah.
Nebraska
I
thing.
knew he grew up too close to Canada.
So I was doing a little internet searching here because I think I remember you telling me this, Julia, or someone pointing it out to me. In 1972, Professor Roger Mandingo of the University of Nebraska,
Yep.
right here in good old Lincoln, Nebraska, received a grant from the National Pork Producers Council to work on a process to create restructured meats. And folks, it's just as fun as it sounds. Restructured meats. He developed a technology to bind small pieces of meat together in different shapes using salt and mechanical action. Because whenever we think of taking little pieces of meat and turning them into a
dog?
big piece of meat or one piece of meat, we think of salt and mechanical action. I don't know about you guys, but that's what pops in my mind. The result of his work can be seen today in such items as dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. And Chicken Nugget Day, National Chicken Nugget Day, was not that long ago, folks. And the ever-famous, and I added the ever-famous, I should probably add the infamous McRib sandwich. So next time you bite into that juicy restructured meat patty, boy, doesn't that sound?
I don't think I ever want to try. I'm
So now-
never ever going to eat chicken nuggets anymore either.
So this is the man that's responsible for my delicious dino nuggets growing up. I need to send him a thank you.
Thank Professor Mandingo. Now, I'm not sure that he's the one that figured out the whole recipe for the McRib when it comes to the sauce and the pickles and the onions that go with it or what type of bun to put it on, but obviously had a huge part in a lot of that stuff. Where he took basically, in this case, pork, and was able to make it into that shape that looks kind of rib-like, doesn't it? I mean, it's not just a circle. It's not just an oval. It kind of has...
Got the little ridges, cutouts in there.
Yeah, those are sauce-holding ridges. I think it's what that is, or it's made to keep the onions in place or
I
something.
never understood the point of putting the onions in the pickles. Where do you get onions and pickles on a barbecue piece of pork?
I like onions on my pork.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I
And
Just not the McRib.
don't know.
pickles. I meant to say onions.
works.
I like pickles. I like pickles on my barbecue pork.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
not been
I-
smashed together.
And that might be kind of that savory and sweet,
Tangy,
yeah.
sort of. Yeah, I can see
I'm not
that.
sure.
I can see
I'm not
that,
sure
but-
how they all figured that out, but it is one of those interesting things. And folks, if you haven't figured it out, the McRib is back in certain spots here in the state of Nebraska. And if you're looking for those spots, I found there is an app called the McRib Locator that you can download and figure out, because not all of the restaurants serve the McRib sandwich, but
Need
the popular ones do.
need the venison backstrap locator
Oh,
this week.
That's at a wildlife management area near you.
Arby's, aren't they the ones that did the venison sandwich for a short time?
Oh yeah, it was like, well, they had a burger out not too long ago that was like elk and venison and
right.
bison and
We were
they called it
coming-
the wild game burger, I think is what they
We were
called
coming back from Fort
the
Robinson.
non-wild.
You saw that? Well, I heard
That's
you
true.
talking about it, so it was on there.
It was there was a sign for it. I'm not sure they had it, and I'm trying to remember if we were in Alliance, Nebraska.
Yes, we were.
at the Arby's and
was in
saw the
Alliance.
sign for that. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, no,
We'll have to
that
take a
was
look at that.
not even a month ago, I
Isn't
think.
isn't it funny how when those restaurants, even your local restaurant that serves wild game, it's advertised as game, and then
As game.
even though it very well
Yeah, it came from a farm.
on a farm.
Yep, and I know that I think Arby's actually had kind of a solid piece of it might have been backstrap or venison at one time that they did several years ago. And we had a restaurant. There were very few restaurants in their chain that had that or offered that. And one of them was here in Nebraska somewhere, and they sold out fast. I mean, but it wasn't kind of the sliced meat or the ground meat like what we were talking about there originally, or mechanically pressurized salt induced. What they call that again? We got
Arby's sandwiches are
the
Salt and
restructured
mechanical.
meat patties.
Imagine if we had to call food as how it was made. I mean, you'd probably eat a lot different than you do.
yeah.
We might.
I mean, it does say on the American cheese, pasteurized produced cheese. I don't know. It says something, not cheese though.
Well, I'm kind of picky. I'm not a cheese snob by any stretch of the imagination, but I do kind of dislike what cheese that we Americans have been saddled with. American cheese is not my favorite, unfortunately, and I don't think it's.
I'm right there with you.
I actually think it's categorized as a cheese food most of the time. I don't think that it's
processed
true
cheese product.
Well, there's an actual American, like the white
That's true.
American cheese is actually good.
Yeah, you can get it.
processed
Yeah,
craft
deli.
singles are they're called
water and
American
oil.
cheese, but
So I'm not going to argue with the kid from Wisconsin from America's Dairyland.
I'm not with you. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm not a big American cheese fan.
I think you can
prefer
get
a
like
nice
sliced
cheddar or
sliced
Colby
American cheese at like delis, like at Hy-Vee Deli
Yeah.
or something.
Oh, there you go.
And I think that's probably your actual cheese there, as
There you
opposed
go.
to your craft singles.
So we're going to keep this on food here real quick. You guys are big fans of Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
I mean, this has become one of my favorite holidays, Julia, because one, you don't have to buy presents. I mean, that's
That's a good point.
you just don't feel that pressure of, am I going to get the right gift? If I give them a gift, are they going to give me one back? Is it going to be better? Do they put more thought into it than I did running into the convenience store on the way to their house? Anything along those lines. But food. I mean, you get food. You get a stuff. You're saying
Food is the gift.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It kind of is. Just think of the power that the person planning that Thanksgiving meal has. They get to tell you what you're bringing. There's a lot of folks that wouldn't listen to that individual any other time of the year, but if it's at their house, they're going to, what do you need me to bring? All right, napkins and corn and a turkey. Okay, I've got that covered. All right, yep, because it's at your place. We're going to listen to you. Plus, ends up being basically a 4-day weekend for a lot of folks here, right in the middle of one of our favorite months, November.
The middle.
Well,
Middle end.
yeah, it's kind of the end, the fourth Thursday. This year, it's kind of early, to be honest with you. I think it's on the 23rd,
It is
the official date.
It is early this year.
So, and with a lot of the deer hunters that I've been talking to, they've said, well, because of the calendar, the November firearm season's a little earlier and the rut's still going strong. And even some of our archers said it was just kind of kicking up.
It might be a
we
good
were
weekend
going.
to be an archery
might.
deer hunter.
It might. What are you guys doing Thanksgiving? Do you guys have any good hunting traditions during that 4-day stretch?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I would say that's post hunting usually since Wisconsin's deer openers.
for deer, right?
Deer is the Saturday before Thanksgiving always, so we usually come back home that Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Thursday is
Okay.
usually a day of morning, get up and process all of our deer
Oh,
that
cool.
morning, and then get into your Thanksgiving meal and football.
Nice.
So it's
Nice.
kind of the ending of the finish, where all the work goes in. But
Okay.
you got a nice motivator at the end with a nice Thanksgiving meal. So.
There you
Nice.
go. And the smells. We'll have to get into that here in just a bit. Michael?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's been a couple times where we've had family Thanksgivings over the years that have fallen during deer season. So I've brought my rifle out to the farm because we usually would have them out at Grandma and Grandpa's, and I'd go walk. There's a big timber draw that runs up the middle of the farm, and I'd basically go walk it, see if I could push out a deer. I've done that a couple times, but usually it's just eating and football, a lot of football. I try to watch pretty much every Thanksgiving football game that's on.
Well, and the neat thing here in Nebraska is you've got, on Thanksgiving Day, you got the Lions, who are actually doing decently this year. Maybe they'll break that streak and actually win on Thanksgiving. Dallas Cowboys, I guess I don't know who they're playing.
It might be that they usually wind up playing the Lions, it seems like.
So
I think.
We'll check into that.
I'm looking it up
But then,
right now.
you've got the big football game on Black Friday with Nebraska. They're hosting or going to the state of Iowa, and you've got a few other college games now there. And then you got Saturday when college football is everywhere, and Sunday again for the professionals. So a lot of fun. Now, do you get out much, Julia, to do any hunting? I know you've got You got kids that are probably out of school.
Yeah, trying to keep up with life usually on those days. If we're able to make it back to my in-laws in northern Nebraska, then the boys and their dad like to get out and with the grandpa and cousins. They enjoy getting out there and doing some hunting, but kind of just all depends on what the weather's like, what do we need to do at home. Yeah.
Well, I got to say, to balance things out, since you've been south of here for a little while in different endeavors, it only makes sense that you need to go north to kind of recenter yourself over the holidays. But
it was warm too, so I don't know. We'll see. Just seems like it's going to be warm in general.
Yeah, it does.
It has been warm. It's been very warm.
Might try some fishing.
See, I was thinking fishing. We might be
fishing.
doing some fishing. Yeah. And my family, the kids actually probably would enjoy fish over turkey for a meal.
Really?
Yeah.
We're going to have to get into some food here again real fast. But before we go there, I got to say my traditional Thanksgiving always involves pheasants. We chase pheasants usually that Thursday morning. Sometimes we'll get too excited and go out to Wednesday, like you said, the day before Thanksgiving if we got enough of us around. But Friday oftentimes meant getting together with bigger group, extended family, to get back out and stretch the legs and trying to burn some calories because we knew there were plenty leftovers. One of the beautiful things, Julia, growing up in a Mennonite Midwestern family, was there was lots of food. I mean, oodles and oodles of food, and knowing that we had to eat as much of as we could before, we got together again a few weeks later for the Christmas holiday meal. It was kind of a challenge, but we went out pheasant hunting, and so I often think of those mornings, hopefully a little frost on the ground around Thanksgiving. Get out there in the uplands, chase some birds, see the dogs work, and talk about a bird that has Thanksgiving colors on it. You got those coppers, you got the dark browns, you got some orange look there, you've got some of the subdued greens and blues, as well as that big red face patch. It looks almost like a bright flower out there at times. But pheasant hunting, and I'll be doing that again. Though my bird dog might only make it a short ways, which is fine. I'm out of shape too, but his age is kind of catching up with him. I might have to rely on some of my family members' pooches. So we'll see. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I do want to go back to food. You guys, favorite food item at the big meal? What is it? Is it turkey? Is it a side dish?
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. That's one of your favorite things. All right.
That's up there.
I could founder off that.
Just the mashed potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you were saying, now, are you just like a lot of your kids, you'd prefer something other than turkey?
We normally, since it's just, if we don't travel or go anywhere, we'll have like steak instead of.
Well, with the cow herd nearby.
Or if we have a frozen bird, for a wild turkey, but I haven't bought like a turkey. But if we have a frozen turkey in the freezer, wild turkey, then I'll make that. But I haven't went out and bought a turkey.
Well, that's
because
honorable.
Everybody else is just happy with a steak, and what am I going to do with a full turkey?
Well, probably just as much fish as there was turkey at the original Thanksgiving that we all romanticize about. And I know our good friend Larry Pape over there in the fisheries division, that's one of the big things they have. It's one of their appetizers leading up to, but one of the most sought after thing is Grandma's fish. So. Hunter, you kind of agreed with mashed potatoes, but is that the thing you look forward?
I've been thinking about it. I will say I like turkey the day after better than the day of because I put it on like a turkey sandwich with a little mayo and spruce it up. So not turkey. I'd have to say, and I don't know if this is traditional Thanksgiving, but green bean casserole.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
My mom makes a pretty mean green bean casserole.
Yeah,
I do get hungry for that. My daughter, she'll eat some green beans, but she's never really hungry for it. That's got to be one of her favorite dishes during Thanksgiving. Okay. And about the only way she'll ever eat the onions. She's not a big onion fan, but those French fried onions you put on top of it.
Yeah. Those are good.
We've got a big bag because at day 2, those things, if they've been sitting on the green beans overnight, they're a little soggier. She's got to got to re-add, scrape them off and go. Michael, where are you? I mean, we've got 2 side dishes. Are you the big turkey guy or no?
I like turkey.
Representing National Wild Turkey Federation, I know the company line.
That's true. The company line says, enjoy yourself a wild turkey this Thanksgiving.
There you go.
I do like turkey. It's not my favorite part of Thanksgiving, though. Usually, I guess mac and cheese is obviously always a go-to, but I'm actually going with an appetizer. So during the holidays, what we'll do is we'll take those little smokies, the little mini sausages. We'll wrap them in bacon, and then pour brown sugar over the top of them and throw them in the oven for about 45 minutes or so. And I can eat those all day long. And we'll usually, this is the time of year we start having those a lot because we'll have them Thanksgiving, Christmas. So
this is the beginning.
This is the beginning.
I'm guessing there's no leftovers you're going to be bringing to the office of those. After.
No, we fight over them at our house. Too.
No, those won't. There will not be any of those left that will make it up here.
Julia, any type of wurst or sausage or hot dog or whatever, that was restructured meat patties before we had the process of keeping the patty together. We just squeezed it into a tube, oftentimes from a part of an animal we found on the inside that a lot of us deer hunters leave in the field. But it is kind of interesting out there.
Wrap it with the fat. Yeah,
So you guys brought up side dishes, and this is one thing I think every year that our good friends at Campbell's, and it's Campbell Soup, folks, kind of goes through. Obviously, we're getting to the time of year where food is the center of a lot of our celebrations and kind of the focal point at times. They kind of do a survey each year. What sides are the most popular, what dishes or things folks are looking for, that type of thing. They are the inventors, if I remember correctly, of the green bean casserole, because they were looking at ways to boost their soup sales years and years ago, and one of their in-house scientists, if you would, one of their food experts, she put that together and become a holiday ritual ever since. And I do believe this is, I'm reading this right off their website, folks, and I know there's a lot of different states that have grabbed a hold of it, because I think they've interviewed or surveyed about 5,000 people from all 50 states across the U.S. to find out their favorite side dish for Thanksgiving. And they also asked a few other questions. One of them, and I'm having trouble finding on this site, but another spot I read is that more than half of Americans prefer side dishes, and that's what they look forward to over the turkey itself.
Me too.
Which is pretty impressive. I like turkey. I prefer wild turkey over domestic, but there's just something about, that's the one thing. It didn't matter which grandma we were going to go visit or which, cousins or what have you. Turkey was always the main thing. One mashed potato might have been lumpier than the other, and I had some grandmas that loved stovetop stuffing as opposed to another grandma that it had to go in the bird or it wasn't stuffing. She'd called it the other stuff dressing, I think it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She split them apart. But folks are definitely liking the sides more and more. And so, first and foremost, we got to look at Nebraska, because they figured out what Nebraska's favorite side dish is for Thanksgiving. And Julia, what is it?
Side dish? Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm, yep. Mm-hmm. Mashed potatoes is the favorite. It's something that we share in common with most states here in the U.S., except for out east. Oh. Out east. More of the Northeast. You know what their favorite side dish is? Very similar to mashed potatoes, in my opinion.
Corn. Yams. Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
No. It's what we used to put in the bird. And out there, they probably mix it with oysters and all that. Yep, stuffing. They're a little bit more.
I'm not a fan of stuffing.
Not a fan of stuffing, really?
Texture, I like stuffing.
Nope.
Why is that? What don't you like? Texture thing again?
No, it's just like a...
If we put it on a McRib, would you try it?
I think we've talked Hunter out of ever trying a McRib.
I don't know what I probably haven't had it in a while because I've never liked it. So it's kind of probably one of those things that I need to revisit to remember why I don't like it. I couldn't tell you.
Now, will it not be anywhere near the Thanksgivings you attend? Is
no,
the rest of the family
served. It's served. I just don't like it.
So you might not know. I mean, I've been a fan of stovetop for some time, because I remember kind of liking Grandma Terry's stuffing. She was the one that had said it had to be in a bird. And then my older sister ruined it for me, and she said, "You know what Grandma puts in that, don't you?" I was like, "No." Because I saw dried bread. I knew, bread. And I loved my grandma's rolls.
Raisins?
No, she didn't. She used, what do they call them? The giblets? Whatever you pull out of the bird, the heart, gizzards, whatever other stuff is in that. And I remember biting into a piece and just like, yeah, that's
See, I like me a good like fried, like you'd fry fried chicken gizzard.
Do you?
Yeah,
You can have.
it's like a chewy chicken nugget.
You won't have any
No
won't have
opposition.
any competition from me. But right, oh, there it is. 67% of those they surveyed prefer side dishes to the entree, which is up 1% from last year. So it's been coming for some times here in the Thanksgiving world that the side dishes are kind of upstaging that turkey. Now, number one thing in the whole survey is mashed potatoes, followed in some places by stuffing. But number three, and this is one that made some waves, it has jumped 2 or 3 different spots. And I've never heard of this side dish being served at Thanksgiving. But, Michael, it's your favorite.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Oh, I love
now, have
mac
you
and
guys
cheese.
been to a Thanksgiving dinner where mac and cheese is a side? I don't know that I have.
All the
I mean,
time.
when there's a lot of
obviously.
little kids, yeah.
Lots of little
Yeah.
kids.
Or, I mean, they're putting the corn in it, so it's, similar, like the mac and cheese and corn casserole.
Okay.
Mac and cheese is a staple dish in Wisconsin, but it hasn't been part of our Thanksgiving tradition. It's more so other holiday. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Easter, Christmas, other holidays, but not Thanksgiving.
That one, yeah, I found interesting that it made the jump, and that's one of the news items there, which is, yeah, it definitely has caught on more because people have added more things to it.
True.
I mean, you've got some really fancy dishes that include mac and cheese now, but I've seen it more when I've eaten it. It's probably been more of a meal nowadays than just a side, because the pasta really fills me up, to say the least. But I've seen people add different types of bacons and sausages, and obviously lobster and crab meat in there as well. Baked types of mac and cheeses abound now as well, and those can fill you up
Different
pretty
type,
fast.
different types of cheese.
So, well, back to the bird though. Even though that's getting less popular, do you guys have a favorite slice? Are you white meat, dark meat,
white meat.
breast,
Dark
leg?
meat.
Dark meat, probably.
White breast meat.
White,
Leg or-
white breast.
White breast.
Leg or thigh for me. I like the nice. I like a fried turkey. I don't always
okay.
do it. And every once it's whenever my dad's up to it. Otherwise, my mom will cook it in the oven. But nice thick, crispy skin
Ooh,
on
I
the
bet
dark
that's
meat.
That is
Yeah.
good.
Yep. Nope. I'm
You're the
right
same.
there. 100% the same. Usually we'll fix. There's been a couple years where we've actually done a turkey and then a broiler chicken. But usually we'll do a couple different turkeys. So one will be kind of that injected marinade, just like the original, I guess, whatever the original is, whether it's butter or whatever else. But then we'll also do a Cajun one too,
Oh, yep.
and fry it. So which there was talk. My dad was talking about maybe frying a turkey and then smoking a turkey this year.
Yeah, we've had
so
smoked turkey for Thanksgiving.
pretty
It's
good.
very good. Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
pretty good. I definitely love dark meat. I've the last several years though, because there's been more available, I've had less competition. Because I remember growing up, the adults rarely left us much of the white meat at all. But I've had it cooked right. The white meat can be pretty darn good, but I find myself putting more gravy on it. More often than not, and that's especially and as you said, Hunter, I've actually found myself enjoying the leftovers more and more,
Yep.
and getting creative with that. But I will say stuffing is one of those that I have a hard time after it's been cooked once, reheating it or anything like that. It
Gets
just
mushy.
gets tougher.
yeah,
It really does. So here's the rest of that top 10 list. Mashed potatoes, number 1. Stuffing dressing, second place. Mac and cheese, number 3. Any guesses at 4 and 5? This
Cranberries?
isn't top 10. It's only top
Is
5.
cranberry in there at all?
Sweet
is not.
potatoes.
Yeah.
It is not. Sweet potatoes, number 4. Another type of potato coming through. Sweet potatoes.
Corn.
And then number 5, green bean casserole. I don't see cranberries in here. We always have cranberries. And I think my mother-in-law, number 1, is the one that brings it all the time. We used to have a family tradition on the Hirschberger side that we'd always bring that log or whatever it was, and drop it on the table,
Always.
and usually pass it around. And we could have put it right back into the can for next year.
I always thought that was a decoration.
Oh wait, you eat that?
Well, as a kid, that looks like jelly. That's got to be good, right? Because growing up, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, we all know that we ate it for the jelly, and our parents snuck in that peanut butter for what it added. But we were there about the jelly. Unfortunately, that log doesn't taste that way.
No.
Now in Wisconsin, though, there are some cranberry bogs and places where they grow that. Does it taste any better than?
I can't say I've had fresh. I don't know if they serve it. I've always had the logs too, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Now I don't like the log, but I do like if somebody's actually getting like the bag of legit cranberries and they make a salad out of that, or I've had like Jell-O marshmallow salads out of cranberries, and it's pretty good. I like it.
Cranberry juice. I don't mind that when especially they cut it with a little grape or something like that adds to it. But how many sides do you usually have at your? And we'll find out. Are you above average or below average? The average American serves 5 sides at their Thanksgiving meal.
Ooh.
It's more than that.
Yeah,
it's at least that.
I was going to say I know we're above that.
It's probably closer to 8, maybe even gets close to 10 some years, I would bet.
Oh, wow. I don't even think I can come up with 10. I know my son likes sweet potatoes, so Mom makes him that. I usually, and maybe her mom, usually bugs my wife to make some type of squash. So there's that. We wouldn't even have Thanksgiving if it wasn't for the mashed potatoes.
Is gravy its own side, or is that count?
That's well,
white or brown.
I since you don't eat it by itself, it's just kind of an add. It's a sauce.
Wait, you don't drink the gravy? Straight
Not often. Not often. Corn, that's usually a good one. Out
Frozen
there.
corn, not canned corn.
Green bean casserole. My daughter mandates that we have that as well. The stuffing. So there are 6 for ours. My wife usually also loves. It's tradition in her family to make a type of Jell-O salad, like you were talking about. It's usually cinnamon, and then we usually have to have some cranberries in there somewhere.
Yeah,
for color. You put them on the plate and then you throw them away at the end. I mean, it just. It works out well.
That needs to be a survey question. What is your least eaten? Or most
that
thrown away?
That would be interesting.
Are desserts counted in there? Is that completely separate?
No, I don't see them represented. And since Campbell soups probably don't go into a lot of dessert, they're probably not too worried about them.
That's not. I don't think anybody's making a cream of mushroom dessert.
Nope. But I got to assume that's one of the most common uses for cream of mushroom soup.
Yeah.
Can you think of many? I mean, it's usually in a recipe.
Casserole. Tater tot casserole.
Yep.
Yeah, green
bean casserole. Yeah,
There's
that's what I usually associate it with.
Some pheasant recipes, crock pot type recipes where you use it, and that's about it. That's about it. So, well, there's enough about food. Now, does wild game make it? And you brought up fish, Julia. Is there any wild game that traditionally makes it to you guys' Thanksgiving table?
Actually, I started, if we're not doing the whole steak thing, we'll have venison, and then I will connect it back. Like, that was the original feast. And again, my kids would rather have like a venison steak than they would turkey.
Nice. Nice. I know we've done some pheasant poppers from time to time. One of the odd things I'll toss out there too is I've tried to have, and the kids have usually helped me, come up with just an odd side dish for Thanksgiving, something that might not be odd any other time of the year, perhaps, but something that's not usually on the Thanksgiving Day table. We've done grilled scallops, we've done stuffed mushrooms, that type of stuff, and pheasant poppers have made it into there as well. But unfortunately, I'm usually thinking about hunting pheasants rather than preparing, because those take a little bit of time, so they don't always. But Michael, do you get any fish or fowl or anything in there?
No, maybe if turkey was harvested in the fall, then maybe might have kept it in the freezer for a month before, but not usually. So,
all right.
not
maybe
really.
This year.
Yeah,
maybe this is the year.
Yeah, well, I mean, back home, of course, turkey season ended at the end of October, so usually not. And then, my dad, really, he's not a huge deer hunter, and I didn't, really wasn't the main focus growing up. We went, but it wasn't like we were out at deer camp for 4 or 5 days, or usually just went a weekend, went out and sat and see if there was anything out there running around. So not typically.
Not typically. Well, we can change that. Now, you say, Hunter, you're oftentimes using the weekend that Thanksgiving weekend to process deer. Has any of that fresh stuff made it onto the table?
I mean, yeah, typically, because we're breaking it down. I don't know that it's not typically the traditional dinner, but the day before, the day after, we're eating, whether it's butterfly, backstrap with bacon wrap around it on the grill, or typically right after we shoot them, we'll do the tenderloins up right away on the grill too. But
how do you do those? I did harvested a deer a few weeks ago, folks. Did a great job the first time. I decided to get a little fancier with the second. And I think the smoke alarm at the house finally has quit going off, and it just didn't work. No. It just, I just completely blackened the outside edge, and I think I had just a little bit too hot there. And we cut into it, and just like, did it move?
It's still squirming.
It moved.
We typically do them on the grill, get them, 425, 450, a little salt and pepper, maybe a little butter, and, flash each side.
Okay.
Nice and rare in the middle, medium rare, and that's about it for the tenderloin. So
one thing that if you guys haven't tried, you can go onto our YouTube page and check out Julie Geiser's venison pinwheels. Makes use of the backstrap, but I think you could do with some other slices of venison that you might have as well. But and it's just exactly like it sounds. She makes it long, skinny strips of it, and I can't remember the thickness. It's not very thick. But then she puts some spices and seasonings on the inside, and maybe a little bacon in there as well to kind of help add a little fat, so it snaps and pops and kind of self-marinates a little bit. And one of the secret ingredients, I don't know if you guys have ever tried it, but she uses a little bit of instant coffee. You guys ever tried coffee in any of your game, much less venison, I guess?
No.
I mean, I see that in barbecue or like rubs. So I think,
have some, it does something to the meat, I'm sure, right? Because is that really acidic or breaks down some of the toughness of wild game or something? I imagine there's the science behind it.
I haven't tried it a whole bunch with the coffee. I haven't tried it with the coffee. Now that I've got more coffee drinkers in the family, might have to give it a go. But Julie says it's not got a real strong coffee flavor to it all, but it does, like you said, something with the meat. It tenderizes it. It adds something. It's kind of like a stew. There's certain things you add to it that really don't have a taste, like celery. There are different soups and stews you add celery to, and it makes all the difference in the world, though you don't taste celery, but it must add something unique. But give that a look, folks, because we've done that several times now. Wonderful taste, pinwheels, however you want to doctor it up. But I could see having some of those. In fact, we might have some in the freezer that we made up already into little pinwheels and then froze after we vacuum sealed it.
Nice, yeah.
But
we did that.
I could see those being a really good addition to the Thanksgiving table, or just sometime during that weekend, because you got to make it all 4 days, folks, not just through Thursday.
The other thing we'll do if we stuff our own Italians and brats and summer sausage as well. So if we got a little bit of extra meat that outside of our casings, we'll make those into little breakfast patties and do like a little Italian patty, venison patty for breakfast in the morning, and that's always a nice little treat when you're home for the holidays. So
that
there's
is
a lot
good.
When you're processing, you got a lot of game laying around. So.
Now, have you guys ever done? And I just use the simple packages and directions that you can find at Shields and Cabela's sell them. Some of the like Tractor Supplies and hardware stores will have the little venison or wild game jerky kits there, and I like the whole meat one where I slice it, right up parallel with the grain of the muscle, and just do that in the stove. And some of those are really good. And what's neat about it is it's got a cure that you actually let it sit in your fridge for, I think it's 24 hours, and usually it ends up being a little bit longer. Basically, it cures it and preserves it already. You could almost eat it just like that. I wouldn't, but I think that it's safe to. But then you put it in the oven, and I don't have a dehydrator. I don't have a smoker currently, but we've got the perfect oven. We kind of put it on almost like a warm or the lowest setting, and we've got it cracked open just a little bit, and it smells. Oh, it's wonderful. But the nice thing is, to see if you've tried it enough, you get to sample it. And warm venison jerky might be one of my favorite things. Yes. It definitely is one way you can take like 30, 40 pounds of venison and turn it into like 1.5 pounds of jerky if you need the extra space. And it disappears. I mean, people just absolutely
disappears before it's even out of the oven.
Sometimes it
Into
does.
the
You
oven and it doesn't come out.
got to start with a lot of venison, but I have to bring some of that in because it doesn't last too long. But that is one of my favorite things, and I try to get those ready because some of my friends and folks that kind enough to let me hunt or something like that, they enjoy it as well, and kind of a nice holiday thank you when you drop it off. But that might have to fill the house with some venison jerky smells this Thanksgiving. So, all right, we're going to make this short because we know we've got a lot of things to do, and folks are going to be pretty darn busy hitting to the field, maybe doing a little bit more archery deer hunting, maybe hitting the uplands for some pheasants or late season grouse. We've also got waterfowl. They got to be moving sooner or later. I know it's been warm. There have been some snows up north, though, that they got to be coming sooner or later. You always look to the skies. We got folks getting ready for muzzleloader season, which starts here real quick in December 1st. But any last words of advice for those wanting to look at outdoors for some ways to get away from the family, perhaps this holiday weekend?
Just take a hike. Go out,
good.
or go grab a backpack and go work off some of that food, or and just enjoy the weather. Because unless we have a dramatic change, it is beautiful out. Absorb it, take it in.
Something else.
Hey, maybe even if it's nice enough, pull out the grill and be making your Thanksgiving meal outside.
Not a bad idea. Deep fat fry it or get the grill out and do some of that. I think we're going to be breaking some blue rock too.
Yeah.
Burn some powder.
There you go.
I've recently seen that ladies that are part of the Become an Outdoor Woman program are seeing mushrooms out there.
What?
Yeah.
We get a little more moisture. Maybe they'll see even some more.
It is just with the warmth.
The warm.
Yeah, it's kind of
I was
funky.
sweating out there today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That
We
it is.
should not be sweating outside November. Should not.
I don't like to sweat outside in the summer either. That'll be my goal, not to sweat after retirement. So, all right, we're going to put a fork in it right there. Hope everyone out there listening to us has a wonderful holiday weekend there with friends, family. Make sure you watch some football and all that good stuff. But we'll be back when everyone returns from the holiday weekend with some great ideas for December and beyond. But until next time.
Hunt Nebraska, brought to you by your Nebraska Game and Parks Commission.